Hey everybody, coming up tonight on Now, believe it or not, the night before Thanksgiving is one of the busiest nights for bars. A lot of people go out tonight, so that has police concerned about drunk drivers. We're talking about that.
There's also a lot going on in our world, and maybe not everybody is happy or has things to be thankful for. We'll talk to a social worker about what to look for and finding ways to be thankful.
And Tennyson tries to make turkey.
This is News Center Now.
Everyone, I'm Amanda Hill.
And I'm Lee Goldberg. We will begin tonight with some breaking news, a developing story in Oxford County where the sheriff is accused of propositioning his employees for sex.
2 complaints were sent to the Teamsters Local 340, which represents more than 20 officers. Ray Cody, a union rep, says one report accuses Sheriff Wayne Gallant of sending sexually explicit photos to a deputy's girlfriend and asked that she and the deputy have sex with him. When the deputy rebuffed Gallant, Cody says Gallant threatened to fire the deputy. Cody says another report accuses Gallant of advances on a different employee for oral sex. The incidents are under investigation. We'll have much more on this coming up at 5:30.
In other news tonight, Thanksgiving is a day for family, for friends, for good food, and of course, to give thanks.
But this is kind of a serious story because the night before Thanksgiving has become a night for partying and drinking, causing a spike in drunk driving nationwide. Chris Costa reports.
As thousands travel to meet family and friends this holiday, a seat at one table in Portland will be empty.
His junior year at UNH when he was struck by the drunk driver.
Fran Jacobson remembers the night her son Stephen was killed.
It's difficult, especially during holidays. There's always that. You wish that someone else was sitting at the table.
Their son, a star baseball player, gone at the age of 20, devastating Fran and her husband Arthur.
On the bleachers. That's how he worked his way through the whole thing. He would just sit out there and pretend that he was playing ball.
As students return home from college and families and friends reconnect, police notice an increase in the population.
And with that tends to be people out more socially, and ultimately, unfortunately, some of them are choosing to drive after they've had some drinks when they shouldn't.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says 1/3 of all fatalities during the Thanksgiving holiday period last year involved drunk drivers.
And then having to approach a stranger or anyone, even if they knew somebody, just to tell them that very tragic news is never anything an officer wants to do.
It's horrible. It really is. You never want to, lose your son, lose your daughter, lose anyone. It's really tough. It's tough.
In Portland, Chris Costa, News Center.
Now, public safety departments are trying to get the warning out on social media, asking drivers to stay sober, to pay attention in the dark, and of course, to always wear your seatbelt.
If you're trying to get out of town tonight, drive safely. There were a few backups already, like this one on 295. In fact, some cars have actually been sliding off the road.
Yeah, it has been a wet and wild day. Keith Carson's here to let us know if this rain is going to stop anytime soon. What's up, Keith?
It is. Unfortunately for most of us, it'll be tonight. You can see the last of the rain moving into York County right now. A little bit of snow here as well, and a couple of heavy bands of rain. It has been a relatively nasty day, particularly along the coastline. Down East Maine has several more hours left to go of this heavy rain. It won't be till around 10 or 11 o'clock that we finally clear this out. Another ½ inch or so is certainly likely. Meanwhile, it is snow in the higher terrain, although I'll tell you, looking at different webcams around the region, they're largely wet and there's not much snow actually being seen. So I wonder if the radar algorithm is having a hard time or that snow level is above 4,000 feet. It's probably the latter of those two, but there's a little mixing certainly going on in some of the higher terrain. Temperatures are borderline there in the 30s, upper 30s. Meanwhile, squarely warm enough for rain in places like Rockland, in Bar Harbor, into the 40s in Portland and Sanford. On the backside, temperatures will drop tonight, but I don't think we'll see any mixing along the coastline. It should be all rain. It'll move out of here. Guys, tomorrow looks a lot better. It's not a banner day, but it's clear, sunny, temperatures around 40 or so.
We're making fun of you on our tablets.
What you saying?
Here.
What's going on?
Don't worry about it.
We'll show you later.
You'll see.
All right, for those Traveling by air, neither the Portland Jetport nor the Bangor Airport have many delays or cancellations listed right now. It does not seem that the wet weather is holding up any flights, but make sure you are checking your airline's app or website regularly.
So air travel combined with changing weather could be considered a perfect recipe for a cold, but are you really more likely to get sick after you fly? We decided to verify this. So we're going to go through piece by piece. Usually it's blamed on the recirculated cabin air, but an International Air Transportation Association study says that in-cabin HEPA filters get rid of 99.99% of germs and microbes in the air. Plus, only half the cabin is actually recirculated, so no, the cabin air will not get you sick.
All right, how about those airplane bathrooms? Drexel Medicine calls them the germiest place on a plane. I mean, it makes sense. There's only a couple bathrooms and more than 100 people. In fact, Drexel says don't touch anything with your bare hands. Use a paper towel as a buffer.
And what about the seat back pocket and tray table? They are deceptively dirty. In a study by Travel Math, microbiologists found more than 2,000 colony-forming bacteria per square inch on tray tables in 4 different planes. So to put that into some context, they found only 265 CFU on the toilet's flush button. And a study by Auburn University found that bacteria can live in seat back pockets for up to 1 week. Add in some jet lag, which Cambridge University says could run down your immune system, and
Yeah, we can verify there is a reasonable chance you will get sick after you fly, so bring some hand sanitizer and stay hydrated.
Good to know. All right, still to come on now. Tennyson putting on the apron and the chef's hat, but what's he cooking up? We're going to find out later on Tennyson. Tennyson tries it.
So close. And what are you thankful for this holiday season? Let us know right now on our Facebook live stream. Now continues right after the break.
Our connection with the ones we love, our friends, our families.
1 in 3 Americans are afraid politics will come up at the Thanksgiving dinner table. Many people don't see eye to eye with their relatives, and that can lead to awkward conversation. According to the poll by the Associated Press and Nork Center for Public Affairs Research, Republicans are slightly more comfortable talking politics tomorrow compared to Democrats.
Well, I'm not sure if that study fits, but we don't do politics at the table.
Yeah.
Even if we agree, it's just not an acceptable topic.
Don't even go there.
No, we're not doing that. All right, so it's been kind of a hard year for a lot of people between the multiple hurricanes that happened, the mass killings, multiple sexual abuse scandals. Things have really been heavy this year in our country.
Yeah, tomorrow is a day designed to give thanks. For some people, that's not always an easy thing to do, as seasonal depression is a real issue. We spoke with Andy Parker, a clinical social worker, about what people can do to find their happy place.
And we also spoke with a young man who says he definitely has a lot to be thankful for.
And what people find is when they can really work to cultivate gratitude in their life, they start to feel lighter and happier. It's not easy, and I'm not being Pollyanna-ish about it. Some of this is stuff, there's some real difficult things that we have to contend with. But we're resilient people, and if we really pay attention to the important things in life and disconnect from a lot of the negativity, we're happier, healthier people.
I'm going to be thankful for being alive, first of all. Been a good year too. Thankful for my family, and also thankful for all my friends and people around me that bring positivity around my life. So I'm thankful for them.
All right, you want to go first or second? Things to be thankful for.
Lee Goldberg, I am thankful for you as a wonderful partner.
There we go. Don't.
There it is, buddy.
Don't even.
There it is.
I was being serious.
Go on.
Friends, family, and since it was my lifelong dream as a kid to work for News Center, working for News Center since 1993 has been pretty cool. Pretty thankful for that.
It's pretty awesome.
And my buddy.
All right, there it is. There it is.
And of
All
course
right.
Keith, right?
Of course, Keith.
Maybe not.
And Tennyson, because home chefs are striving for that crispy skin on the outside and juicy turkey on the inside, and Tennyson nailed it. That means you can too. So find out how coming up on Tennyson Tries It.
And your Thanksgiving Eve might be a little bit dreary, but it is looking up for tomorrow's forecast. The biggest turkey we have coming up in a little bit. Alrighty, today's Tennyson Tries It has a very special Thanksgiving theme because, believe it or not, Tennyson Coleman has never cooked his own Thanksgiving turkey.
I haven't either.
Come on, man. What? What?
Listen, we can't all be you, okay?
What?
All right, so he got a lesson from the culinary experts at Eastern Maine Community College. Now, while you watch Tennyson try turkey, tell us how you will cook the bird tomorrow.
All right, here are your choices: traditional, fried, or smoked. Go to pulse.newscentermaine.com to vote or open up the Pulse tab in our mobile apps.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us on this Thanksgiving edition of Tennyson Tries It. And this time I'm going to be learning what many of you are already doing this week. That's cooking a turkey. I did not have much time, so I headed over to Walmart to pick up an oven-ready turkey. No need to thaw it out. And next I'm heading over to EMCC here in Bangor to learn how to cook this gobbler the right way, the Maine way. Many will tell you that you can't quite have Thanksgiving without a turkey. It's been the centerpiece of Thanksgiving dinners with my family forever. In Maine, that's no different.
We kind of spread it out in my family. We're going to have one feast on Thursday and then another one on Saturday. Saturday will be the traditional turkey dinner with all the fixins, as they say.
Chef Jay Demers is the chair of the Culinary Arts Department at Eastern Maine Community College. He's been cooking for as long as he can remember. During the holidays, he's in charge of making meals for his family.
By default, sometimes I think everybody's just like, oh, maybe Jay can do it. And personally, for me, it's just another day at the office, as they say. I can cook and I can have a good time as well, where I think a lot of people get very stressed over the holidays.
And this Thanksgiving Eve, he's teaching me, someone who has never cooked during the holiday, how to roast an 8-pound turkey breast.
So what's the first thing I need to know?
Yeah, the first thing we're always going to do is we're going to, here at school, we're going to make sure you're in uniform.
Now that I look the part,
We're going to turn
Putting my hat on.
we shift our focus to sanitation, washing our hands and also washing the turkey, lowering the risk for foodborne illnesses. Next, we cut up some veggies to stuff inside the turkey and to garnish on the side. What a way to add some flavor. To give our turkey even more of a kick, we made a maple chipotle flavored butter using chipotle peppers, adobo sauce, garlic, and of course maple syrup. And I'm just going to say it's probably the best seasoning I've ever tasted. Since our turkey was already oven ready when I bought it, we didn't have to thaw it in the fridge. But if you do buy a frozen turkey, be prepared to spend at least 2 to 3 days thawing it out. Something I'll admit I didn't really know beforehand.
They take an average of a day for every 5-pound of bird. So if you get a 20-pound bird, we need 4 days to thaw that out.
We spread the buttery seasoning on the skin of the turkey to give it that spicy but sweet savory taste. Now for the fun part.
Into our 350-degree oven.
All right, and which way do
Yeah, we're going to turn that sideways. Perfect, yep.
All right.
Beautiful. We'll set it for an hour and 15 minutes.
After an hour and 15 minutes, we take off the foil we placed on top of the turkey to keep the meat from drying out. Then we wait another 45 minutes until the turkey is fully done cooking.
So it's been about 2 hours in total now. We put it back in for another 45 minutes, and we should be about where we need to be. So let's take a look.
All right, here we go. Yeah, that's
Oh, and as you can see, this one came with its own pop-up timer, and it has popped, so that means it is indeed ready.
We double check the temperature, and yes, this turkey is done cooking.
This turkey was definitely not pardoned.
After slicing the bird, time to taste it.
And now my favorite part is actually getting to try it. So here I go. Very good. You know, I've never made it before, so I don't have anything to judge myself on, but I think it's awesome.
Absolutely. For assessment purposes, we'd be looking, first of all, at the crispness of the skin. You nailed that. Beautiful golden brown there. We're looking for moisture in the turkey. Certainly had that. And then we're looking for that bit of flavor that we added to it. Slight little bit of chipotle and maple in there. And of course, we can enhance that with a little bit more of that butter. But I think you did a great job.
Not too shabby. I'll give myself a pat on the back. All right, well, that's all the time we have for Tennyson Tries It. You know, like I always say, if I can try it, so can you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Need to know this. Are you now going to cook when you go home? Because we've got video proof that you can do it. No more excuses that you don't know how, because you do.
Hey, listen, everyone's just going to have to start calling me Chef Boyardee because I'll be serving it up all Thanksgiving long. Oh yeah.
Also stole my nickname.
Okay.
I'm Chef
fair enough.
Boyardee. We could go into business.
Come
Lee
on.
and
come
T.
on.
Come
Whatever.
on, man.
By the way,
Come
our
on.
pulse results right now, 61% of you saying the traditional roasted is the way you go. Okay, even the best laid Thanksgiving plans can fall apart.
So we asked you guys today on Facebook to share your Thanksgiving fails. And Tuyet says that she once burned the pie, not once, but twice, and then realized that the oven was actually on broil. Amy says that her friend used a roasting bag for the turkey, but then forgot to poke holes in it, so it kind of melted on the turkey. So they had pizza instead.
I wouldn't know to do that. Debbie says when she was young, there was confusion about who was hosting Thanksgiving, so her family drove to the wrong house, and it was before cell phones, so they just ended up driving back home. Sarah says when she hosted her first Thanksgiving, she panicked when she couldn't find a platter to serve the turkey. Her boyfriend ran out and got one, but the only thing open was a garden supply store, so he bought a bird bath. Now they serve the turkey on the bird bath every year, and it's a great conversation starter. That's not so bad.
More importantly, they obviously got married, which is the right move after he went out and tried to bail her out like that.
I know, right?
That's good. That's a good man.
That's good. All right. What was I thinking about? Turkey. I guess I'll do weather.
I'm going to just throw it out there. Maybe weather?
Yeah.
Maybe. You know, I try to do more than just weather, Lee. Okay. Try to be multifaceted.
Keep trying.
Yeah. All right, got some rain out there starting to wrap up over York County here. This will be the last of it in Portland in the next hour and a half or so. Heavy stuff still over down east, and it'll be several more hours left of this before we get rid of it by later on tonight. Probably about 10 or 11 for most of us here, especially towards Lubec and Eastport up into Lincoln. And we have a little bit of snow mixing over in Greenville. It's been a heavy wet snow, hard to accumulate, but it's probably starting to do so now as this rain snow line starts to collapse a bit in towards King Fields here and into Eustis. That's where we're seeing that snow mix over. So this low pressure system will move out of the way by later tonight. Tomorrow is a weak ridge of high pressure, so it's not an amazing day for Thanksgiving, but it's nice. It's certainly nicer than today with a whole lot more in the way of dry and sunshine. And then on Friday, we just see a little chance for a snow shower. Most of us are dry. Saturday, we get pretty warm through the first half of the day into the 50s, and then clouds increase on Saturday afternoon. Sunday, we get a storm relatively close to us that could give us some showers and some flurries. So hour by hour forecast, here's the last of the rain and snow again by about 11. Most of us are cleared out. Temperatures drop quickly into the 20s, right around 30 degrees along the coastline. And you can see most of the day tomorrow is sunny, and on Friday an isolated snow shower will do it, but most of us are clear and quiet there as well. And then Saturday we start with sunshine, end up with clouds by later in the afternoon. Continuing to watch Sunday, I think we'll be okay, but this storm is still relatively close. So particularly over down east in northern Maine, Sunday afternoon I'd plan on a mixture of some light rain and some light snow. The farther south you get, the lesser chance you have of dealing with that precipitation. I threw a little marine forecast in for you today. Didn't mean to, but I did. Seas around 4 to 6 feet, small craft advisory in effect. We usually do that a little later, but it's okay. Saturday looks pretty good. Again, Sunday up and down with a few snow showers, rain showers around. Monday looks colder but bright, and then back to warmer conditions. It looks like Tuesday and Wednesday, both days around 50 degrees there. So no major storms in the way. Couple of warmer days coming up too.
All right, thanks, Keith.
Something to be thankful for.
All right.
Look at that.
I see what you did there. Yeah.
It's been a while since we've heard from Ray Allen's neck of the woods, but a recent filing from him in court, in a court of law, not the basketball court, points to some internet trouble, and the alleged details in this case would make for a wild episode of Catfish. Let's break it down. The Associated Press reported yesterday that the retired NBA star asked a court to throw out a case where he is accused of stalking someone he met online. But Allen is saying, I'm not stalking anybody, and hey, I'm the victim here. Allen alleges he's the victim of catfishing and that a man named Bryant Coleman posed as beautiful women interested in him. The documents show Allen acknowledging the communication with whom he thought were those women, but he also says they entered a non-disclosure agreement, which he says was violated. Now, as for Coleman, TMZ reports he denies catfishing Allen, but that they were both in a romantic relationship and he knew very well he is a man, which Allen also denies. Now, if you've seen celebrities in recent days post this picture of a teenager named Cyntoia Brown, you are not being catfished with false info. People around the world are speaking out against her conviction back in 2004. Cyntoia Brown was 16 when she was sentenced to life in prison, according to our affiliate in Nashville, for killing a man who hired her for sex. She claims she felt threatened when she got to the 43-year-old man's home, but prosecutors say the teen shot him to steal from him. Now celebrities are demanding what they say is justice with the hashtag #FreeCyntoiaBrown. Rihanna, Kim Kardashian, and Al Sharpton are just a few celebrities to name. Leah and Amanda.
All right, thanks, Katie. Coming up tonight at 5:30, more information on claims of sexual misconduct in the Oxford County Sheriff's Office. The latest on this developing story.
Plus, the Cat Ferry is in jeopardy again. Why a multi-million-dollar renovation could be needed if we want to keep the ferry service going. Those stories and more coming up the next half hour. News Center Now continues after the break.
All right, from the school of You Can't Make This Up, this guy named Mad Mike Hughes is going to launch himself in a steam-powered rocket over the desert in Arizona tomorrow. And part of his motivation here is to raise money to then launch himself to prove that the Earth is flat. So it's interesting. This guy actually obviously has a high mechanical intelligence. He's a limousine driver, but he takes spare parts and makes these steam-powered rockets. And this is actually a part of a mobile home trailer frame that's going to be his launch pad. Now, he's actually done this before. We can show the video of this. And he almost died, not surprisingly. But he launched, and one of his parachutes didn't work. So he was in the hospital for 3 days after this launch. You can see how high he went here. But what amazes me about this is here's a guy who seems to understand the principles of science, yet he's trying to prove the Earth is flat. This is a direct quote from him. "I do not believe in science. I know about aerodynamics, fluid dynamics, and how things move through the air, but that's not science. It's just a formula," which clearly makes no sense. So hopefully this man is okay, and I hope he gets a chance to launch. What gets me is he wants to launch into orbit next time, which, need I remind you, wouldn't be a thing if the Earth were flat. He's launching into orbit on a flat Earth.
Well, maybe he won't if he just finds out the world's flat.
I hope he's okay, but seriously,
wishing him
guys.
the best.
Yeah.
Come on.
Right.
See you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. News Center 5:30 right now.